Yeah, yo, from the crib, Foster Brothers. It's K.E., Phil, y'all ready? Let's get it. Straight out of Baltimore where the streets got grit. 3 brothers on the mic, we legit as it gets. K-teched out, never missing a step. Got innovation stacking, always keeping it fresh. Ellis, he the rhythm, keep the beats intact. Music's in his veins, got the speakers packed. Flow smooth like jazz, soulful to the core. Creativity hitting like never before. Phil got swag, fashion killer, game tight. Style elevated, every drip just right. Sports on lock, jersey fresh to the kicks. From runways to courts, he keeps it slick. Welcome to the crib, Foster Brothers got flow. Real talk, real vibes, Baltimore to the globe. K.E. Phil, yeah, we keeping it lit. This is how we do it live, straight from the crib. Yeah, let's go. It's Foster Brothers, baby. From the crib podcast, tune in. Let's go.
What's up, good people? What's up, fam? You want another episode of From the Crib Podcast, joined by your boy Philly Cash, E, and K. What's up with y'all, man? What's up with y'all? We got a lot to get
What's good, fellas? It's gonna be a spicy one.
So we're gonna start with, the events that started on Friday and concluded on Saturday with the Thursday. Started Thursday and concluded Saturday with the NFL draft. So, what was y'all takeaways from the NFL draft? What y'all thought? What were some of y'all thoughts?
I mean, we can't start without talking about the Shadour Sanders fall. Like, that was, I don't even get it.
Yeah.
Like, for the Browns to pass on him that many times, draft another quarterback, and only to come back and draft him anyway. I don't get it.
And for that reason alone, I think the Browns didn't have a good draft day, because if you really think about it, they could have had Travis Hunter, and I said this right before the draft started, Phil. I said the Browns could get Travis Hunter and Shadour Sanders on the same team. So they missed that opportunity by trading out of the first round, getting the D tackle. They could have got Travis Hunter first round, and then they could have, if we knew that Shedeur was going to slide, they would have been able to get him too. Which you get 2 first rounders in the round. It already got chemistry round 1, round 2. I think they lost. The Browns just being the Browns, but they're just trying another way to be just trash.
But the thing that was interesting to me is when they showed the draft room after they made the pick, they didn't even look like they was happy. Almost like somebody told them, like, y'all gotta take him now at this point. So like they was just in there like.
Right. Did you see the press conference when the lady asked them why it wasn't no enthusiasm when they drafted him? Nice. One said, it's probably because it was a long weekend, and then the other one was like, oh no, it was a time delay. They didn't show us do it because it was a time delay when they announced it into when they were showing what was happening in the room. And he kind of he said that after the dude came up with that lame ass excuse talking about they was tired, and he was like, "Don't read too much into that. It was a delay." And then when he said that, he looked dumb. Like, why did I say that? Like, why did I come up with that dumb ass excuse?
But look, I kind of felt like something like this was going to happen just because the simple fact that the NFL don't like guys that has the pedigree and the confidence and what they perceive as arrogance of a Shadour Sanders, and that's kind of why I didn't feel like a lot of the retirement of the jerseys and the different things was kind of at bad timing, because it gave that negative, because they don't want to see him do well. Like, we seen the hate that Dion got throughout being at Colorado, and that things from his father rolled over to him. You know what I mean? So,
and then that ultimately kind of eliminated Shiloh from getting drafted, even though he probably wasn't going to get drafted anyway. But when you saw how far he dropped, the Shedeur dropped, you kind of knew he wasn't.
And he said that too. He said, if you watch the clip, he was like, "Damn, they doing you like that? They doing me."
Right. And it's wild because it's not that they went to Colorado, like they don't believe Colorado have talent, because Colorado, I believe, had I think they had like 7 people drafted.
Yeah.
5.
Which is pretty high. 5?
Yeah, they
I
had.
think 5 for free agents got signed.
Yeah,
Exactly.
including Shiloh.
That's still pretty. Yeah, that's pretty a good amount of players from one team to have 9 players from your team get an NFL opportunity. That says
I'm
something.
pretty sure Colorado hasn't seen that in a long time.
For sure. And that was one of the things I took from the NFL draft, the fact that it was only one Alabama drafted linebacker in the first round. Like, I had never seen a long wait where you see a LSU person not drafted real early and you don't see an Alabama player not drafted very early. And I think that Alabama pick took place around like 28, pick 28, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's a good thing because you don't see all the best talent flocking to Alabama or LSU no more. So I think like the talent is a lot more spread out now because of the NIL deals. So you're gonna see some elite players on teams you wouldn't see them on. Which I know a lot of people don't like the NILs in college, but I think it's good to have the talent spread out a little bit more.
I can deal with the NIL. I just don't like the transfer portal because if you're an NFL scout and you see a kid, like what I'm noticing, even throughout the draft, you'll see a kid being drafted that played for like 2 to 3 different schools. And if as an NFL scout, like do that, you think that is a red flag, or what you guys think of, like?
No, I don't think so. It's just business. I mean, they do the same thing in the NFL. So, I wouldn't call it a red flag. If anything, it's giving you some more intel on them because you can see how they work in different systems and you can see how they work with different personnel around them. So I think it's just like giving you more intel on who the player is. And like I said, they do the exact same thing in the NFL. So I think they understand it's a business at the end of the day.
Yep. It's just the players a part of it now in college.
I don't know. I would probably flag it as a red flag in my opinion because in my mind I'm thinking like, do this kid really have buy-in to, sticking it out with the team? And then when it comes into negotiations, if things not going his way or if he got to compete for a spot, how invested is he going to be into making the team better? And I just be like, man, if a guy transferred from college to college to college, it's like why?
But usually, if you see that stuff happen, a lot of those players are going to be the same person in the next destination. So, if someone leaving, they got beat out of position, they're not getting playing time, it's woe me, and they don't want to work hard to earn that spot, and they take that same energy to another program, most likely they're going to be that same person that's going to happen to them there too. So you just spinning your wheels to the point where you just kind of wasting your time, and they don't get drafted. Them guys don't get drafted unless these people put good product, those players that put good product on the field, they gain more value, gain more stock, and then they'll take the bag somewhere else. That's different. Then it's
And that's why I understand why Shedeur went from Jackson State. Like, I could see moves like that, like a Jackson State to a Colorado, where you want to kind of raise your draft value and you want to show those people with like anybody with an opinion that say you can't do it at a certain level and kind of prove them wrong. So I understand from that aspect. But when I see somebody go from LSU to Alabama to Auburn, it's like apples and oranges in my opinion.
I mean, Cam Ward is a prime example of that being successful. He played at 3 different schools. 0 star coming out of high school, number 1 draft pick. I mean, it could work for you. I mean, just wait, and it calls for more players to wait their opportunity if they're not the guy, because the person can leave. And you got to think it's always been that way. I think it's a good thing for the players because just playing in college, the coach's job is to find somebody better than you. They can recruit you 1 year, and then that next year is to find somebody better than you. So if that's their job to do that, it's your job to find the best opportunity for yourself too. So I think it balances the playing field in that way, and it makes the coaches do their job. They got to find players every year.
With that said, who you think is the winners and losers of the draft, this 2025 draft? Team.
Well, I mean, I think we already can agree that the Browns are the losers.
They just losers. First of all, they in the AFC North and they losers. I just don't like them at all. And I just think that leadership looks even way more fragile than I remember. because this new dude, he just come off like a hater to me. And they're not making sense of the reasons why they went the way they went. It don't make any sense to me. That whole organization is shady. They dumb. They still got Deshaun Watson on the payroll, and this dude hasn't played a full season in like 3 years. Like, to this point, you don't even know if this dude even know how to play football anymore.
And that's and if they would have took like the advice that you were saying at the beginning of the draft by taking Shedeur and Travis early, they probably could have rectified a little bit of the wrongdoing of signing Deshaun Watson and pretty much destroying the QB market like they did 3 years ago. And it's like unfortunate, like, to go draft a quarterback in the 3rd round, then turn around and draft it in the 5th round, trade for Kenny Pickett, sign a Joe Flacco, and it's like still got Deshaun Watson on your roster, so it's like you throwing something at a wall and hoping it'll stick at this point. It's like you got 5 different quarterbacks that runs 5 different styles of offenses in a sense. And now you kind of turning your wheels on who you're going to start at this point. And I think that was a lot of the pressure of drafting Shedeur, to go back to that for a second, of drafting Shedeur, because I felt like a lot of organizations may have been intimidated by Shedeur realistically, because they know as soon as something get to shaking, it's like, when's Dion going to come and join his son, or when they're going to play. So I think a lot of coaches and a lot of organizations was afraid of that type of turmoil from the fans.
I mean, it has been reports that it just came out yesterday that Shedeur, in his interviews, was coming off, I think earlier in the week, saying that he was coming off and making them feel small, saying that he, trying to dictate where he went, and it was said that was the reason why he slid, because in most of his interviews he was being quote unquote cocky about trying to dictate where he was going to go. So a lot of the teams didn't get to really know who he was. They didn't see value in taking him in the draft because they didn't get the opportunity to really get to know who he was. But that doesn't explain the slide. But I did see information saying that he slid because of how he conducted himself in the interviews, and how his dad tried to pull a Archie Manning, and they didn't appreciate that, so they didn't take him.
Yeah, but even the Shedeur thing aside, you had the opportunity to draft one of the most electric athletes that the league have seen in the last couple of years, and you trade out of the pick
For a D-tackle.
For a D-tackle that is not really going to make a
impact.
Even if he's real good, he's not going to make that type of impact on the game, where you could have had Travis Hunter that could contribute on both sides of the
Which the Jaguars will allow him to do.
Yeah, so I don't know what they were thinking. Now, as far as the winners, I'm definitely got to go with the Ravens. I think they got 2 starters, 2 defensive starters, 2 first-round talents.
Yeah, instant.
So, and possibly 3 with that kicker they drafted. That might be the end of Justin Tucker. So I think they had 11 draft picks.
Ooh, and they got my man LeJohntay Wester.
Yeah.
Return specialist.
I think their goal for him is to be the punt returner. So yeah, we'll see how that shakes out.
That's dope.
I think a winner. The Seahawks. They secured a lineman, guard / tackle. They got Jalen Milrose, which is a talent, and then the guy that I thought the Ravens would pick up was Nick Emanwari, who was kind of get the comparison between a hybrid safety of a Kyle Hamilton mixed with Cam Chancellor. If you guys get a chance to watch his highlight. He out of South Carolina. So I think they actually did a good job because, with Mike McDonald as their head coach, they can implement that style of safety play. And then, being that he kind of been around the Ravens a lot, and Jalen Milrose have a similar athleticism. Well, I'm not going to compare him to Lamar, but he is an athletic quarterback that could probably run a system in Seattle that's similar. And I think they are winners because they got like a lot of young talent. They went first round with a lineman to secure a lineman for him. And of course those, it wasn't too many quarterbacks drafted in the first round. I think it was only 2. Jackson Dart and Cam Ward. Yeah, so I think they got a steal right there in the 3rd round drafting Jalen Milrose out of Alabama. So I think they could be a winner with that.
Absolutely.
Instant impact players.
It's going to be interesting. And again, Oh, this is something I wanted to bring up. That we don't have to do this episode, but I do want to do this at some point. But it's interesting because we always the day after the draft or the days after the draft, and we sit back and we try to grade how the draft is. But realistically, you can't get an accurate grade until like 3 years later. So it would be interesting, like, to go back and look at some previous drafts and see how we grade them after the fact. You know, we actually had a chance to see some of these guys play and see how they develop.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those things go missing because like just like this draft, it was majority offense and defensive linemen, and I think a lot of teams went very safe. I think going line development and D tackle or D line is very like really safe picks because those are positions that don't manifest until 2-3 years down the line. But as fans, we don't expect that instant gratification from a D lineman or an O lineman. Yeah, they might get some snaps here and there, but we don't pay attention to their immediate impact as we would a skill position.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to go back and look at some drafts and see how teams actually graded or how their selection panned out.
It wasn't really a strong draft, just talent wise in general. I think it was like an even balanced draft. I think it's a lot of gems, but I don't think it was like a top heavy talent wise draft, especially in the QB position.
No, I agree. All right, so with the freshmen, with the rookies coming in, it was some interesting. I did want to talk about this for a second. Some rookie number updates, right? So Jaguars Travis Hunter mentioned he wanted to wear number 40. We have Cam Ward actually wearing number 1, which was approved by Warren Moon, who used to wear it and had that jersey retired when he was with the Houston Oilers. And then we also had the Giants, Abdul Carter out of Penn State that they drafted. He requested for 56, which was worn by Lawrence Taylor, which was denied. So what do you guys think about like the idea of some numbers coming out of retirement or these rookies requesting numbers that was worn by some Hall of Famers? Like, do you think it's like is it a good idea or is it? What do you feel about that?
That's not new, right?
You talking about numbers new?
Huh?
No, it's not new, but a funny story. I was at the draft party. I was in a conversation with somebody that's real close friends with Bo Braid's agent. And it was funny because, soon as Bo Braid wears 24, and soon as Starks was drafted, I think the next day he got a phone call, and it wasn't even like asking. It was like, yeah, you giving up that number.
Damn.
So it's like it's crazy, like how depending on your status, person it'll like they'll even ask you or they'll like giving up.
Yeah, we taking this. Yeah, you taking this number. So it's crazy that Abdul Carter would ask for a Lawrence Taylor number though. I thought that was kind of wild. Because I'm like, that's like somebody like the Ravens drafting a linebacker. That's like Patrick Queen or C.J. Mosley coming in the Ravens and saying, "Yeah, I want to wear 52." Like, I think I could.
I mean, that'd have been like Malachi Starks coming in and say, "I want number 20."
20, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So you think it's a good idea? Because it's I know Michael Irvin particularly had a interesting take on retired numbers, and he was saying it's better to let people wear your number if you was that great because good or bad, they're going to compare them to you, which is going to keep you very relevant. So if C.D. Lamb or Dez Bryant drop a ball, they'll say Michael Irvin wouldn't have dropped that. Or if they, so he was that was people to wear his number. So like you guys all played sports and you did some good things. So like, would you be one of those people that just be like, yeah, let them wear it, you wouldn't care, or would you be like?
Yeah, you gotta think about the game going to be around for hundreds of years after that. So at some point, somebody gonna wear it.
Yeah, I don't think that's something you should hold on to.
Like, yeah. So I mean,
everything got a price tag though. Everything got a price tag. I think at the end of the day, people pay for numbers. People care about it that much. I don't think I like Irvin's take on that because it makes sense. You always come up in the conversation. That means your name never die, which should be more important than the number itself. So I mean, it's a number.
So can you see in in like 5 years, somebody wearing 52, would that be acceptable as a Ravens fan, or you'd be like, all right?
I mean, it depends on how you view it. Like, do you want to be compared? Do you want to live in that shadow, or be compared to somebody who that great?
It would have to be somebody that, like, for one, the middle linebacker position hasn't been really valued that high recently. So it would have to be to the point where somehow the Ravens got a top 5 pick, and in this particular draft there was a linebacker that was just like a beast in college and was drafted and mocked to go in the top 5 picks, and the Ravens got him. But like, if you drafting some linebacker in the second, third round, they not.
Yeah, you gotta come from greatness. Yeah, you gotta come from greatness, or showing yes you were great.
Yeah.
So with that said, do you guys think Cam Ward, like, what do you guys predict, since he was the number 1 overall pick, what do you foresee a successful season by him looking like?
I like Cam
I
Ward.
mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but you know, recently the expectations for these young quarterbacks is a lot higher now. Because you look at what Jaden Daniels did, you look at what the guy in Houston did.
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud did. So even look at what Caleb Williams did, even though people don't really pay attention to his numbers. But you gotta look at some of these rookie quarterbacks been putting up numbers in their rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends. It depends on, of course, his supporting cast and if his coaching staff puts him in the right scenarios. Because you always can look at what Bryce Young had to go through. So it's like, it depends on what type of position their coach put him in, if they can deliver. It's going to be interesting to see, but I think the standard for rookie quarterbacks has gone up in the last couple of years.
I think Cam Ward has the head on the shoulders, the type of gameplay that can adapt well to the NFL. But like Kay said, like it depends on how much they put on him. I mean, I think he'll do well. We just gotta wait and see.
Of the quarterbacks drafted, you feel like he'll probably have the biggest, like, the best season, or just based on where he landed?
I think out of the rookie quarterbacks, he's probably going to be the only one that has the opportunity to start
Right away, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm assuming we'll have to be him.
Yeah.
I was going with a sleeper. I was thinking, I think the guy out of Texas, Ewers, going to the Dolphins was kind of a sleeper pick, and he was the last quarterback selected in the draft, and I think he might have an opportunity just based on the injury history of Tua and him having that talented receiving core. I could foresee him playing probably by week 5, just depending on how they keep.
I don't know.
How
It's gonna
healthy
be hard
they
to say
keep.
because I don't even believe he's gonna be a second string quarterback.
Who they got? I don't think
Don't they still got the guy from the Ravens?
Huntley? I don't think they have Huntley no more.
He a free agent. So Ewers might be his direct backup to a Tagovailoa.
We might bring him back.
I mean,
I thought we brought him back at the end of last year. Was that last year?
For the
no.
Ravens?
I thought we brought Huntley back. I don't know why I thought that.
No,
They signed their backup quarterback for the year already.
Mm-hmm. And they only keeping like two to three QBs on the roster. But speaking of that, can we go back to the Browns now that they have 5 quarterbacks? They have 5 quarterbacks in the QB room. How do you think that pans out for the rest of the season? And what that look like? Because they have 3 starting quarterbacks and 2 rookies. How you think that fares, and how you think that plays out?
Well, Deshaun Watson, he tore his Achilles, so he probably won't be back until like late November, early December.
So he probably won't play at all next year.
Yeah, he probably won't play at all. And then, I ain't gonna lie, like you said before, this is typical Browns behavior. They have like the longest list of starting quarterbacks. So it's a chance that all of them probably will get a chance to play.
They did something similar last year when they had Deshaun Watson, they had James Winston, they had
Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Yeah, and then they had what's the name? And they had Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, so they go through quarterback.
That's the worst. I think that's the worst situation to go to. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I was happy he got drafted, but I was kind of disappointed he went to that situation just because, one, it was clear that they didn't want you because they drafted another quarterback before you.
Late.
And two, I actually want to see Joe Flacco play, but I think that the Browns should it's gonna be an interesting preseason because those are gonna be preseason games that I want to watch.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
they should be able to position themselves if they were smart, which they probably not. But if they were smart, they would be able to position themselves to be able to trade one of these quarterbacks before the season starts
But who want them?
to try to get something.
I think it's disappointing just because let's say hypothetically Shadour Sanders win the starting job. You got to play Baltimore twice a year. You got to play Steelers twice a year. You got to play Cincinnati. It's already kind of setting him up to be like for people to say, oh, he's not as good as his numbers showed in Colorado. It's like almost setting him up for failure in a sense because you in that strong quarterback division. Like you got to play. You're gonna compare your numbers to Lamar Jackson twice a year, Joe Burrow, and then whoever. I'm surprised the Steelers didn't go and take a chance on. Probably Aaron Rodgers, most likely. So it's like you playing against a defensive happy team. I mean, a defensive happy division that got some strong guys out there. So it's like that's going to be a tough 6-game stretch.
The Steelers did get Will Howard though. I think that was a good pick for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he a D lineman, right?
No, he quarterback.
Quarterback. Oh yes.
I think Travis Hunter went to probably the best situation he could possibly go to, and with the Jacksonville Jaguars as one that's the hometown, and
That's his hometown.
yeah, he's from Florida, and they're gonna allow him to play both ways. So I think that's the perfect opportunity for him. I did realize how young the GM was and the coach. Yo, that's like a whole different kind of like organization over there. So I'm excited to see what the Jaguars do in the next couple of years because they seem like they got a new regime over there, and they kind of on the up and up, kind of giving me a feel of like kind of Dolphins, how the Dolphins go young in their staff, and they just kind of got fresh energy about them. So I'm excited to see what they do moving forward down the line.
I wonder what's going to be their philosophy on how they decide when to play him on offense or defense. It's going to be tough to do it every. I wonder how strategic they're going to be. Like, if they playing the number one passing team? Do you throw them on defense to stick their receivers, or is it going to be a quarterly thing, or is it going to be?
I'm
first
sure he's
half
gonna be in
this,
some
second
type
half
of
that?
sub package on defense.
Yeah, they already said he's gonna spend most of his time on the offensive side.
Oh, they said.
But they're gonna- yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I would have went the opposite way. I would have had the majority on defense, maybe come in for certain downs and distances for third downs on offense or something like that. I think he was a better.
You gotta look at he's more natural as a corner, but you gotta if you're looking for the best impact and most bang for your buck, you want somebody who can get in the paint. I put him on a receiver, see what he can do over there, and then how difficult would a defensive playbook look like? But they just want to. I think they said that. I know they said that they just want to adapt the way that Colorado did it and try to make it more fluent. And they have way more access to science and things, the way to keep his body fresh and make sure they kind of keep him on pace and make it more fluent throughout the week. But he's probably like the only person I've seen ever come out of the draft and his stamina was an attribute. So I just want to see how they kind of utilize that talent that you don't really hear much about from most players. Like, his best trait is that he got a lot of stamina, which is like crazy. But that's the only time I feel like stamina does make an impact. Because you'll see that on Madden, and you be like, that's not the first stat you look at, his stamina. But it was like, you think about a Travis Hunter, and think about him playing both ways, you better look for a guy that got like at least 80 to 90 stamina. It gotta be.
He might have to be 99 on that.
What is his stamina gotta be? What's his stamina on NCAA? Because they got him playing both ways on there too.
Yeah, gotta be high.
But it's different though. I think the NFL is different. It's gonna be way different. You playing like elite talent.
Yeah, he
like,
not gonna. There's no way he gonna be playing every snap.
Right.
You just can't. You just can't do it.
Yeah, but it's hard to decide which snap is important, especially in the game of football.
Yeah, but like I said, I think he's gonna be sub packages on both, on offense and defense.
Mm-hmm. But then you gotta think the NFL game way more slower than the NCAA. So you gotta think. I mean, you go to a college game, you go to an NFL game, not in play. Like when the play is going on, you got faster talent. I'm talking about the pace of how the games are played. You ever go to an NFL game and you got commercial breaks, you got TV timeouts. You don't have like that NASCAR. You like play after play after play like you got in college. It's like the NFL game moves so many. You got too many breaks in the NFL game than you do in the college game. That's kind of, I think, that will play in his favor.
But in my mind, this is what I envision, right? This is, in my mind, imagine the Jaguars playing the Ravens. We expect Travis Hunter to go out there, play up defense on a Zay Flowers or a Bateman, go out there and tackle I don't care if it's for one play, tackle a Derrick Henry, try to catch a Lamar Jackson, go on defense, get hit by a Roquan Smith, get covered by Marlon Humphreys, didn't have to deal with Kyle Hamilton. That's a lot to deal with, and I'm just talking about the Ravens. You know what I mean?
It's possible, bro. If you're that nice, as they say he is, he can do it, bro. I mean,
it sounds like a tall task.
I play both ways. I ain't saying I'm Travis Hunter, but I play both ways, bro. It's not that. It sounds crazy, but it's really not that crazy, bro. It don't. I get the talent level. Like the talent level, might see the nicest nigga on this side and the nicest nigga on that side. That's cool. But if you like that, then it wouldn't be a face.
That's the thing. I don't think they're gonna bring him in and put him on the number one receiver. He's gonna come in at the slot and be matched up on the third receiver. Like,
I still think it's a tall task.
You want the playmakers on the field. You want your best playmakers on the field, regardless of who he guarding.
I agree, but it's hard for primary people to stop them guys. You feel me? It's so hard for people that practice their position 100% of the time to stop them guys. So somebody is splitting reps. It's hard for me to believe that they'll be as productive.
Yeah.
I just hope they got a good plan for him, long story short. I think it's not that I don't think he can do it. I just think it has to be very strategic because that's a tough talk.
I mean, that's the allure of Travis Hunter. I think that's the allure of him. You know what I'm saying?
Where you can, they didn't really talk about it here, but now you can go from you start your career in high school all the way to your college career, NCAA 26, and then all the way to your NFL career on that.
So they got to connect their careers now.
Yeah, that's.
Yep, I'm getting this one. I was waiting for them to do that so I could start buying my NCAA again. Because that was like my favorite. Once they introduced the high school to NCAA, I was like, yo, this is the best game. But when they took it off, then I was like, and that's kind of when I stopped playing it. But now that they're bringing that back, and you know, Phil, we used to do, like we used to live the whole lifeline of our player. So yeah, to
retirement.
Yeah.
Played with him like on all just like defense, all like,
we used to watch the draft. Remember when we used to do that? Yeah. Bro, yeah. Yo, we used to sit there get plates of food. Like we go to the kitchen. We used to go to the kitchen like, yo, the draft about to start, bro. And then we would sit there and just like don't skip or nothing. Like we don't skip nothing. We just let the draft play. It took like an hour. We just wait for like, yo, I think this is me, yo. This better be me, bro. This better be me, bro. And then we just see picks go before us, like, yo, how the hell? And you gotta think we exported the class, so we know these dudes. And then we had to do it a couple times because sometimes your player don't be going over, and sometimes remember Phil, they don't be over. Yeah, so we watched the draft and watched it like it was like really us getting drafted. Yo, it was fun. So I like that they bring that back, and I think that was like one of the reasons why I played that game. So I'm glad that they're doing that, and I love that they put that money into that type of ad too.
Yeah, it seemed like it's going to be. Right there. Yeah, like I think that's what's going to be a different experience with the user menu and stuff like that. And I'm hoping with them allowing you to export your player that they actually have like the data to follow it. I mean, we're in the technology age where it should be there. You know what I mean? Like if
your career, college stats and all that.
Right. If you won a Thorpe Award or if you won a Heisman, like they should mention it, or they'll be like, oh, he started his first game against San Diego, or like they could make a reference to one of your best games or something like that. That would be dope as well. I might be asking for too much with that, but I think it's going to be. You gotta
think with AI now, they should be able to implement that pretty simply into the game.
Yeah, they do it on Call of Duty. They keep all your stats from everything else.
Yeah, but what I think the next step with the AI is allow like having them say your name more.
Yeah,
'Cause
you know
they're-
what's crazy is a lot of the games, like especially like the NBA games, used to do that, and it seemed like they've been going away from that in the recent years in the games.
Right.
We used to think we would get hyped when
They
we
don't
used to
say-
do that. Remember?
Heck yeah.
Yo, you said Foster, yo.
Right, they said Foster, yo. But the thing is, they kind of switched it over where they kind of would, like, let's say if you went to USC, they'd be like, oh, a corner from USC caught another pick. Like, that would be cool enough. But like you said, like, it did start out when you used to play, like, 2K or Live back when they used to be able to say your name, your whole thing. Or yeah, at least you could select a nickname. I don't know if y'all remember that. You could make a nickname for your player, and it'd be like handles or something like that. Scores another bucket, and they could call you by that. But yeah, I'm hoping they implement it. But the trailer for that is definitely dope.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest ones.
And it looked like they're gonna probably sell it at a package price too, from the looks of it.
Yeah, they did that last year too.
It's gonna be like $100.
So I might have to.
Yeah, it was like $100 for both of them.
I'm doing
They
that.
drop it. You think they drop it at the same time? Did they say?
Nah, they don't drop at the same time. Normally, the cows come out a month before.
Oh, okay. Because y'all know I'm big on that right now, so I'm gonna have to get that.
They said April 20.
I mean, I ain't get that.
No, I don't think it normally don't come out until.
I thought I saw April 29th that said on there. It said something.
Yeah, usually those games start dropping like August.
No, Madden come out in August. NCAA probably come in July.
I'm copping that.
Yeah, and wait for the graphics and the gameplay.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that.
Definitely on that.
All right, where we going to next?
All right, the segue to other news. I'm not sure if you guys heard about Shannon Sharpe, $50 million lawsuit from OnlyFans lady,
Model.
19-year-old model. A lot of stuff is it's so much information that's just being reported in terms of this, like some of the phone call releases, some of the text messages.
That's the thing. That's the thing that was crazy to me. Like I heard these, the phone calls, and it's like you talking to a little ass kid. Like you could tell, like she can't no real conversation. Like I don't know, it seemed crazy. Like that a grown man would be having a conversation like that with a little ass kid.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there could be scenarios where somebody that age is a little more mature than normal, but she wasn't one of them. Like you could tell, like she talked like she was a kid.
Right. It's like she didn't have really substance to hold the conversation.
Yeah.
With somebody that's 54 at the time, I guess, and then she 19.
And the fact that he was,
Like, what do you have?
the fact that he was even holding it, the way he was holding it, like,
Right.
you coming to LA? You'll say yes. I'm like, yo, hang up the phone.
Right. Oh, hang up.
That's really I ain't gonna lie, man. This over these past couple weeks, man. Like the celebrities that I want to win, they just been disappointing me, man. I'm watching like a real live game. Like I wanted so much success and best for Shannon Sharpe, but he let me down with this one, man.
Yeah.
Because it was like, all right.
Come on, dog.
Even if it was speculation, you offered the lady $10 million, so it's obviously something there. Like
He offered
Come
a 10
on.
mil?
Yeah. Like to settle.
to try to settle, so it's like you got something there. They said no, we want the 50. So it's like you should have just kind of like,
Damn, he did something then. Cause I ain't
Exactly.
offering nobody no 10 mil.
right, you're not offering money if you ain't do nothing. If you don't feel like you're
But then-
guilty at
but
no
then-
magnitude.
But so I'll say this though, that doesn't necessarily mean he did anything illegal. He might just was willing to pay because he didn't want
His
the
reputation.
news to get out that he was messing with the little ass girl.
Yeah.
But now that it's already out at this point, he like, well, ain't no point in me paying out now. The news is already
Right.
out. And I didn't do anything illegal, so
Barely.
now you can get nothing.
2 years ago he did.
I mean, based on the stuff that she alleging that he did, it could start out civil, but then go criminal real quick if you think about it.
Yeah.
So you kind of gotta hope it don't go that route. You know what I mean? And then it's already messing up his bread because he already had to step away from his ESPN gig on twice a week.
Yeah.
So it's like it already kind of messing with his money, and then it didn't make matters even better that it was reports that he was doing racial like sex play and stuff, saying I'm gonna put a big black baby in you and all that. So that don't.
That's what the girl was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like adding like extra layers where you're not only going to be losing some bread, you might be losing the culture, and I think that was one big thing.
Big black man chokes small white woman. That's what he said.
That's what he said on the recording, man. It is like disappointing because it's like, bro, you would think how he carried himself, he would know better to do something like that.
Exactly. That's why I don't get it.
Yeah, his grandmother didn't tell him nothing about that. My grandmother always told me. My grandfather always told me. Ain't tell him nothing about these white women. I guess not. Like, damn, boy. Like, he tripping.
Like, I don't know. I feel like he probably could have had so many better options. Why are you even dealing with that?
He got deep fetishes.
Yeah, and this is, I think initially how it felt like he was already getting baited based on how the girl was talking on the
Right.
Yo, just
Like,
the fact
his
that she was
antennas
recording
wasn't up at that
conversations,
point.
you already knew what she was on.
Right. Like she was like regurgitating stuff you said to her previously to hear if you're going to confirm it again. That's kind of how the conversation is like, yeah, so you are going to choke me. You know I don't want to be choked. Yeah,
Right.
I'm going to choke you. And I said, like, nigga, you don't feel like that was a setup?
Right.
Yeah. We can't put too much on these celebrities, bro. They regular dumbass people, bro.
But yeah, he too old, man. He 54, man. And it's crazy because, you know, a lot of his previous interviews are going viral, like the one with Cat Williams and the one with Monique, and then how he was talking about some of the players that got for bread and child support and getting divorced and stuff. So it's kind of like crazy that he would
Right.
get
So
caught
you
up in
knew it
something
was
like
up,
this.
and you still fell victim.
Right.
Cat Williams told you.
He said they took down King the Conqueror in 2 weeks.
2 weekends.
In 2 weekends. Well, what are we talking about?
Yeah, that's wild.
Man? I think that the trajectory of his media career post retirement was going on that trajectory of being like pretty successful.
I mean, I feel like he reached the pinnacle of it, though. Or how could he actually go after that? After first take, after Undisputed. I think he reached his pinnacle at Undisputed. He kind of started, peeking out at first take. Then he got Nightcap.
No, but he could have easily been the next Stephen A.
Yeah, I think he could have probably been bigger than that, bro. He could have got a deal.
Yeah,
He already got a deal where he launched a bunch of different media shows on YouTube. But he could have been like maybe internationally known. He could have probably got like maybe a talk show. He probably could have been on daytime TV. You just never know. A movie.
Yeah, the one thing
Opportunities, all types
he
of
does
stuff.
have going for him right now is he still has his own platform.
That's what I'm saying. He can still.
So
Ain't the end of it. I don't think it's the end all be all, though. I think it's just embarrassing.
yeah, it's definitely embarrassing, and I think he gonna make it through the whole situation, but it's definitely gonna take some money out of his pocket, and
Right.
it's definitely gonna take a hit on he's gonna take a hit on popularity.
Yeah, because like depending on what comes out, it could cast a shadow over him. Like, dang,
I
man,
think
you
it
got
already
you.
did.
You know how it is, man, when the black celebrities are getting famous and then you start to be like the media darling a little bit, and then some news come out to you, then you get dropped. Like, you just never know.
Yeah.
Because even though he got his own media platform, things like that takes a toll on the individual to the point where he might not feel like he want to get on Nightcap and with Ocho, and you might see his takes being a little different since he could be found guilty of being sexual. Look at some of his content a little differently. Like, hold on, what's the story you telling? Like, you
Right.
gonna be looking really into his thing, and then that might take away from the authenticity of his.
Yeah, because like one of his major sponsorship deals is with that little sex pill.
Right.
He don't took that. He took it too far. He took it too far, bro.
So you gotta think, man. If you once you start losing those sponsorships, it's gonna take you some time for people to forget, for you to have to build those back.
Yep. Yeah, that's rough. That's a rough one.
It's just unfortunate. Man, the Lakers are down 1-3. They just lost to Anthony Davis with a missed three-pointer at the end of this past game.
Yeah, it's 3-1, Minnesota.
Minnesota up 3-1. It's looking like they won one and done.
I thought he was gonna try to get Bronny a ring.
I know they said Lakers in 5. It's looking like Minnesota in 5.
Damn.
But do you think, all right, before we get into the music review though, do you think LeBron, do you think he he already reached his pinnacle? Like in terms of like, would another championship really boost his legacy, or does it really even matter? I mean, he like dominated all the statistical categories. So,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Would a championship really enhance his legacy any more than, like, what we think any more of LeBron than we already do?
Yeah. I think, it's another part of the story. Like, he won a championship with his son. Let's just add to it, That would be dope to see. You never seen that? Another chip closer to Jordan, closer to this ring conversation that people like to bring up when it comes to being the greatest. I think it will add to it. Doing it at 40.
Penix. I need to see what's under that.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that.
What?
He said something like, you heard it when they were saying big Penix energy? They were saying big Penix energy. I said, nigga, I ain't hear that shit. Yo made that shit up.
I was making a reference.
Ain't nobody was saying that shit.
Making a reference.
There's nobody saying no big Penix energy. Yo said,
Yo, look it up.
Yo try to make a trend. Yo try to make up a trend. I heard this.
That's what they was saying when he was at Washington. That's what they was
I
saying.
hear that.
What they were saying, Phil? What they called it?
Yeah. Big Penix energy. You'll be in the shower saying that. Big Penix energy.
Hey.
Nobody saying that shit. I hear that shit one time until you said it.
Go on YouTube. That's what they was saying, bro. It's on the YouTube. What's bro name that's on he on the NCAA talk. He won the Heisman. He won number 21 for Michigan.
The one who's on the cover?
I know him.
No. He was 21.
Number 21. He won the Heisman. What's his name? He does game day.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. What's his name? Desmond Howard, yeah.
Desmond Howard, yes. It's a clip on YouTube. Desmond Howard was saying it. I'm trying to tell you. On the game day morning drinks that they do for NCAA.
No matter here, over here, you should know better.
Mm-hmm.
I said, remember they were saying it. Thanks, fam. I appreciate you guys joining us. Like, follow, and subscribe from the Crib Podcast with myself, Philly Cash, K, and E. See you next episode.
Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.